All right, everybody. Good afternoon and happy St. Patrick's Day. Welcome to Ready, Set, Crypto. Live today, 17th of March. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Hello. Let us know where you are coming in from.
I realize we're not wearing green today.
Yeah, nobody's wearing green on our side. Short the banks. All right. Let's see. We got greetings from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. We got Belgium. We have London, baby with Maple Ridge, British Columbia. Hey, is everybody hearing Mav okay? I want to see if we can get rid of that echo that we had last week.
Yeah, if it's around, then I'm just going to hop off the call.
All right, so we have, let's see, London, UK in the house, Ohio, Aiken, South Carolina, Ireland, Romania, from Montreal, Canada, bonjour, Munich, San Fran. Okay.
I'm definitely okay, thank you.
So we got an all good homie. That's good. I suppose that works. All right.
I'll take it.
Outstanding. Hey, welcome aboard, everybody. For those of you just climbing into the room, my name's Doc Severson. We have Mav over here. We are Ready, Set, Crypto. This is something that we do every week. We do live analysis. Mav does it more from the fundamental and the space side, and I'm zeroed in on the charts, and I'm just the trading guy. So we got a couple of things to talk about, and then we'll take your questions. We'll keep this one short today because we are in front of, we're all that stands between you and grabbing a beer out there for St. Patty's Day. So we understand that. We'll keep it short and sweet today. All right, off we go. Mav, what you got, man?
Cool. So for those who know the routine here, I'll just quickly switch over and start talking about a little list I've got. If you'd like to follow along with me, the list is in the bio below, and you can get free access to this. I post these every week, and it's also part of our brand new community, Ready, Set, Vision, which is really cool, free to join. Lots of great information on there, especially regarding on-chain analysis, which is really hot, really cool way to look at the crypto markets. But today we're just going to do a very short list, and I think this should be nice and fun because I think there's some cool opportunities kind of breaking out right now, but the whole market is just kind of waking up right now. So it's kind of hard to say what is or is not the best opportunity for you to be looking at. But here are a couple ones that I'm watching and I think are pretty cool. So the first one, I definitely have to throw in the caveat right now that it's blowing up. Livepeer, LPT, is, I think it was up over 100% over the last 24 hours, the last time I looked at it. And I'm only including this one in partly because it's pretty cool. Definitely really interesting to think about video streaming and blockchain and all that. But I'm really bringing this in here and putting this at the top of the list because YouTube recently banned our channel because they just decided that we were, somehow in violation of their terms. And then after we appealed it, they, said, sorry, our bad, whatever. That's why this is my number one pick this week as a nice big middle finger to YouTube and their ridiculous system. So, all right, moving right along though. Another thing I like to talk about on this channel, the sort of crypto projects that get me really excited because I think there's a lot of opportunity, are those dealing with tokenization. And if you've heard about NFTs recently, that's a type of tokenization. You're tokenizing art, you're tokenizing property, you're tokenizing some form of equity, etc. So where that's eventually going is to have synthetic assets. So you can do some really interesting things. We were talking about this a little bit last week with the combination of NFTs and DeFi and having, speculation on NFT prices and whole NFT markets. Well, that's kind of where synthetic assets are going and why projects that are working to move in that direction, I think are really exciting, have a lot of potential, have a lot of upside, possible in their future. But in particular, the one I want to look at is Mirror Protocol, which I think is doing some really interesting things, has some really awesome way of looking at how to tackle this problem, and is a good possible alternative. I think we covered Spartan Protocol a couple of weeks ago. Synthetics is the one that is highest up in the market cap listing. UMA Protocol is another one that is doing synthetic assets like this. So very interesting things. Really like this project. Next up is if you've ever used the Chrome extension Honey, you know how it pops up and says, hey, you could save some money using this coupon or something like that. Or if you've ever used the Brave browser and you're familiar with the BAT or Basic Attention Token, which has been absolutely top of the charts recently. I think it's been, if not one of the best in the top 100 over the last 24 hours. Besides that, in like Decentraland and Voyager. Yeah, it's one of those things that I think there's a lot of potential for getting people rewarded for what they're browsing on and what they're doing when they're on the internet and shopping around. So that's what StormX is all about. In that, whenever you do an online purchase, which I'm sure we're all guilty of these days, being stuck at home, it gives you a nice little reward. It gives you a little bit of cash back, but in a Bitcoin or crypto sense. So it's just a Chrome extension. I think it's pretty cool. I like what they're doing. They've got a really nice app. Interface is really nice. So yeah, I think this is one possible way we can see crypto start to relegate or find utility in the things that we're already doing every day and just make it better. So very cool. Another one that I think is pretty cool is Frax, which is it's one of those dual token setups. If you're around for the early days of DeFi, that was Maker and Dai were some of the first out there to experiment with collateralized and multi-collateralized stablecoins. So this is similar to that, but it's also similar to what we've seen out of, is it Algorand? I can't remember. But having a algorithmic-based stablecoin that is capable of kind of sheltering you a little bit from what's going on, some of the volatility, et cetera, and having a lender of last resort token in the form of the Frax share. So lots to like about that. And it's one of those things that helps with liquidity in the DeFi space. So it's definitely going to see more and more usage. And as a result, the price is going up because this is definitely one of the spaces that DeFi needs to, kind of mature on. So lots to like there. Another space that I'm seeing kind of blow up, get lots of attention. I've talked about this a lot in our previous streams, is the Polkadot space. And for those who are just joining, the link is in the bio below if you want to follow along with the spreadsheet that I'm talking over right now. It's free to access, so check it out. But yeah, this is Polka Foundry, which is all about creating borderless and frictionless DeFi apps. So almost making like a smartphone interface, if you will, of DeFi and being able to connect all those different cool aspects of DeFi together. That's something I think we're going to see more and more of in the coming months and years as it relates to DeFi kind of really growing up and where the value of DeFi is going to be found. It's going to be about the projects, the protocols that can serve as interfacers, as interoperability. That's why that's why Polkadot has been just blowing up recently, because it's really easy to connect the different pipes of blockchain projects and protocols using Polkadot and to build something that doesn't have to exactly play by the rules of, let's say, like Ethereum, where you have to code it in Solidity, etc. So I think this is really cool. I think whoever's doing things to make DeFi simpler, there's a lot of value there. It's going to have a lot of upside potential. And so that's why I like stuff like Polka Foundry. Now, this is a much shorter list than you might be used to if you've been following along with these streams. But I will also talk about some of the ways that I find some of these cool projects that are kind of under the radar, if you will. So the first one I like to use these days is called Token Sniffer. It's a hilarious name, but what it does is help you sniff out those undervalued under the radar projects. And I think this is really cool to be able to utilize something like this and, be able to see on a volume sense what is kind of, gaining traction right now. Because one of the interesting things about DeFi is that in addition to maybe looking at the market cap and what's trending on market cap, we can also look at volume as a trending indicator in a way that we don't really do with the traditional crypto markets or the traditional equity markets, because volume is a very interesting thing to see. Okay, yes, there's more trading, liquidity, etc. That's maybe what you're used to. But what this really means is Uniswap volume. So what's happening here is the more volume we see for these tokens, the more that they're potentially being utilized, serving as those connectors, as I was just talking about Polka Foundry. There's a lot of back and forth. The more that it's traded, the more that it's likely serving as some sort of intermediary or, just leverage point in the DeFi space. Where DeFi and where value comes from in DeFi, where you're looking for the sort of projects that are going to do really well in the coming months and years, it's all about what can they do to support other projects. Whereas if you went back to 2017, the sort of projects we saw break out were all these ones that are kind of promising the moon, but really just standing on their own. Everybody wanted to be the next Ethereum. Everybody wanted to be the next Bitcoin, et cetera. These days, it's a very different game. It's all about who can support as many, extra projects on top of them, serve as, the hub of many spokes, if you will. And not just in a platform sense, but really in a connector sense. Can they prop up all those other projects that are doing things like liquidity farming and lending and, all these other really cool aspects of DeFi? So that's where I see potential and why I use sites like Token Sniffer to look for that sort of volume to tell me, hey, maybe I should go check out Polka Foundry or some of these other ones like Frax, or Mirror Protocol. So now you're kind of seeing where I'm getting these from and where I kind of find these interesting projects just based on their trending volume using Uniswap. Cool. All right, let's move along to using CoinGecko as another way to find some of these undervalued projects. So CoinGecko, I think, is at this point far superior than CoinMarketCap. If you're still using CoinMarketCap, I mean, cool. But I've made the switch over to here just because I think there's a lot of really good intelligence we can get out of this. And in particular, I really like the ability to, if we go up here on the top bar here and we go down to markets and we go to categories, I think this is super cool. I wish we had this back in 2017 because this would have helped so many people better understand the space, better understand where to find opportunity. If you listen to me talk about crypto and where to find opportunities and how to invest in crypto, I talk about sectors and categories, kind of interchangeably, same word. But basically what I'm talking about is those broad areas of the space, such as DeFi or exchange-based tokens, or those built on the Polkadot ecosystem. Those sorts of projects that have some sort of commonality and the ability to look at that and say, okay, well, DeFi is doing really well right now. Maybe I don't want to invest in the top coins, the Uniswaps, the chain links. Terra has absolutely crushed it recently. I was talking about synthetics earlier. Maybe I don't want to invest in those because those are just, there's too much, they're too popular. I want to get in on what is going to be the next Uniswap or Chainlink or Terra, et cetera. So if you start going down this list, you've probably heard me, on this call, I talked about UMA. On other calls, I've talked about Pancake Swap and Thor Chain and Yearn, and a lot of these other ones that I think are really interesting. 1inch, Curve, Balancer. These are all serving to be really good connectors and those sorts of projects that are propping up the space. So this is basically the strategy here is just to look for those sorts of projects that are doing really well. And then to say, what else is like that project? What are there, is there a competitor out there that's more undervalued and doing something interesting that's going to help it stand out, maybe catch some attention, maybe rise up the charts a little bit? Yeah, I think when we're talking about where the market's going to go for the rest of the year, I think it's going to be all about the ability of projects to be connectors and to be propping up the DeFi space and the NFT space. And I think there'll be some surprises, but generally that's going to be how the playbook is going to be in this year. So I think there's a lot we can, there's other resources on CoinGecko. It's pretty cool. But another one I want to look at is called Moon Factor. And this is really cool because some guy out there just posted this on Reddit and no one paid attention to it. And I found this, I think this is such a cool tool. And I even reached out to him on Reddit and I said, I love this. This is so very cool. Thank you for building this. And he was ecstatic. He couldn't believe that anyone was paying attention to this cool site that he built. But what's really cool about it is you're able to kind of look at a high level all those sorts of undervalued coins out there, and in particular, those under a $20 million market cap, which, is pretty much going to put it outside of the top 100, if not 200, in terms of the overall crypto space. So we're talking about, crypto moonshots, moonfactor.com. It's a really good tool because it gives you a lot of granular data that you wouldn't be able to find easily all in one place like this. And that's why I love this site. So we can sort by, for example, market cap, and we can see which projects have a really good following on Twitter or Reddit, on GitHub. What is their CoinGecko upvote percentage? In particular, I want to see projects that have like a pretty good amount of market cap and a good amount of volume. And then if we want to, we can dig into these and see, their CoinGecko link. Go back. And a lot of other just really good information about them. So I would definitely encourage you to go check out moonfactor.com. He didn't pay me to talk about it. I just think it's really good, very useful, lots of really good information on here. This is going to definitely help you find those undervalued tokens before anybody else, going past all the noise and all the shilling and all that stuff. If you go on Reddit or Twitter or whatever, this is how you find projects before anyone else. You look at the hard data and separate that out from all the noise and the bias and the shilling, because these days there are a lot of people out there that are getting paid to shill stuff. And it's unfortunate, but that's just the state of things. You just have to be aware of that. So understand that if anyone's talking about any project other than us, because we're not paid to talk about projects, just bear in mind, keep that in with a grain of salt. And don't get emotional about any of this stuff. Trade dispassionately. I think you'll have a much better time for it. So for those just joining us, we're about to see some really awesome action in the crypto markets. The stimulus it's Christmas morning. We're definitely going to see a lot of that get into the crypto markets. We're going to see some renewed activity. This is where we saw after that initial Black Thursday of last year when Bitcoin sold off over 50%. It wasn't until a couple days later that it turned it around, and then it became the best performing asset of the entire year, bar none. And so I think we're going to see something, continue with the narrative and the way things are going. But let's turn it over to the charts and maybe tell us what they, see what they say.
Something else happened today was Jerome Powell talked, and he basically said that no interest rates hikes for until 2022, I believe he said, or 2023, something like that. Like 15 months is where that's being priced in right now, which is unbelievable, especially with where interest rates have been going lately. The other thing that we heard today was that the IRS is not going to be looking for your tax return. So if you owe money, you got another month. So to me, all that money is going to go into the market. That's where money's been going lately, is stimmy checks and any kind of tax returns. It's been going right back in. So we've got a great environment right now for this. And as long as interest rates are this low, there's no point in keeping them in a savings account. You may as well get them invested. All right, so let's take a look here. I want to swing this over here. And I just want to talk about a couple of charts. So first of all, Bitcoin versus the US dollar. What we're looking at here is we got the third swing up. And this is where I get excited for stuff like this, because what we're seeing is when we get down into exhaustion on the swing up, here's the swing up, we hit exhaustion, and the price did exactly what it was supposed to do. It went sideways to down or somewhere in between. This is what we need to do. Range expansion goes to range contraction. And now we're back up again with a full tank of gas. And actually, the weekly chart does not look that bad at all either at this point in terms of energy. So this is where we're getting this very linear movement. You know, when you hear me talk about things like linearity and, you know, things like that, this is where we had zero linearity, right? Markets couldn't get anywhere at all. Every time that they would rally up, they'd get kneecapped. Every time you rally up, you get kneecapped. And then it's even the one that we had last year was just frustrating as hell, right? Every time we rally, just the trapdoor opens up. And this is part of what we call corrective behavior. So when we're in corrective behavior, this is the job of the market to basically separate the wheat from the chaff. This is where all the weak hands get sorted out. And it's only the strong hands that stay with something like this. But all of this move up here has been extremely linear. And this is the type of price action where it's much, much simpler to be able to trade. This is the type of stuff that we need to be in. And so buying the pullback works during times like this, where we have pullbacks, the pullback gets bought. The pullback gets bought. And what we've been seeing also lately is the pullback's been getting bought around a 50% retracement. So here's the 50% retracement of this specific swing. I am expecting this to perhaps consolidate just for a few more days here before breaking out. Next breakout target is above 60. Again, that's Bitcoin versus the US dollar, but we're seeing a lot of them like Chainlink. Looks really good today. Chainlink above 32 is a breakout candidate. Once again, that's an ascending triangle that we have. Lots of other coins are working out really well today. Zilliqa is starting to set up with a really nice high and tight consolidation at this point. A lot of energy here. Look for Zilliqa above about 20 cents. Let's see if there's anything else here. Kyber Network, those kind of things. Basic attention token, Mav talked about before. But notice this, they all have the same linearity. So this is an ascending triangle pattern, huge amount of energy, breaks out to the upside on big volume. So anytime you see big volume, you believe the move. Big volume, believe the move, okay? So with that, I am going to open things up here for any questions that you guys have. I'm going to take this away. Any questions that you guys have, and we'll wrap up our session for today. Thanks for your patience. Send it to 74. Okay, we'll do. Let's see. You didn't see the discount on the options course when you checked on Sunday. It was supposed to go away on Sunday. You might have missed it. But if you stick around for a while or just reach to me offline, and maybe we can make that happen for you. So just reach out to us, support it at readysetcrypto.com, and I'll make something happen for you.
I just turned it back on, so you got until Friday, so make that decision quick. But
boy, Mav is quick, man. Look at that.
Sure.
Oh, let's see. Somebody wants to look at FTM. Let's look at FTM. All right. I like this one. All right. Let me bring this over again. I'm just going to slam on the chart. So what I'm looking for on FTM, first of all, this is going to have to break this. This is versus Tether. So when I have the option, I will just chart something versus the US dollar, if at all possible. So this is versus Tether here. The first breakout is above 45. It's got all the energy in the world right now. And the weekly chart looks pretty good, although it could stand with another couple of weeks before the weekly chart's able to recover from this massive move that it had. So watch the daily chart. Rule number 3 is descending patterns break to the upside. First level I'd like to see is 45 cents versus Tether. And then above that is 55 cents. That's the next lower high to be broken. Look for the volume. The volume has got to accompany a valid breakout. So if this breaks out and the volume is still down here, don't believe it. Don't believe it. Whoops. Okay, hold on a second. We lost it. There we go. Any other questions? Anything else for Mav or myself while we're on here today?
Gotta keep it nice and short today. Let you guys drink some green beer or something. But yeah, I think it's gonna be should be some good weeks ahead. I think there's gonna be a lot to like, especially because what we want to see in the crypto market is obviously, renewed economic activity, but also what the FOMC said today. It was, hey, we don't know what we're going to do about interest rates. We're just going to let them let it ride. And as it's been shown over the last couple of years, and especially over the last year, anytime that there's any discussion like that, there is some panic in the market or there's some uncertainty. We saw that with the bond yields, et cetera. But where that eventually leads to is people divesting out of equity markets and into alternative asset classes, gold, for example, but more importantly, crypto. So I think the chips are in our favor. We are our cards, the cards are in our favor. The chips are on the table. We're going to have a good time, but it's going to be some volatility. It is the new norm, but remember that it's a feature, not a bug of the crypto space. The volatility means that people are actively trading it, that, it's a free market, et cetera. We don't have these, we don't have any stop gaps or anything like that. There's nothing stopping it. So any thoughts on VGX? I don't know, Doc, what do you think about VGX?
Let's see. VGX is tough to chart because it doesn't always chart on here. I don't like to do it versus wrapped ether. Let's see if there's a US dollar equivalent. It's like BQ. There it is. Here's Voyager versus US dollar. So this one's just in a big consolidation pattern right now. So I would watch for the break above 6.5. So this is right now still trading right around $5 or something like that. I like this one a lot. I like this one a lot.
We like the stock.
Yeah. 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 Options, man. Like options right now, look to be selling the pullback, sell puts down at support at levels that you want to be a committed buyer. So right now you'd be selling options for maybe 30 to 45 days out and trying to secure about the $45,000 strike. So on Ledger X, you're going to be able to sell those for about, the contract is going to require $450 a margin for contract for that. And, obviously the closer it is to that level, the more you're going to get paid from that. Okay. Yeah, I looked at STMX a minute ago here, and I was trying to just kind of chart over your comments.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want, rewind the video. I talked about it in the spreadsheet earlier, which is in the link in the bio below. But yeah, I think there's a lot to like about StormX doing some really cool stuff.
Okay. And last one here, I'll look at, see if we can find YFH. I can't find anything on that. So
that's going to be Urine Finance. He just put an extra I in there.
Oh, there we go. Let's try this just versus Tether. This one is, I would wait on something like this. So if you're looking to make a decision based on technical analysis, wait until you have a weekly uptrend. I am not a big, I'm not a guy that's trying to, roll around in the gutter and trying to catch something on the way down. Don't catch a falling knife. Wait till something transitions into a weekly uptrend and then look for the daily chart pullback. Okay, guys, let's wrap out of this. And there we go. So thanks for joining us here today. If you have any other questions or just want to reach out, you can either hit us up on the Discord, which is down below, right down there. So join us on the Discord or check us out at Ready Set Vision. Or if you trade the equity markets, join us at elite.readyset.trade. It's free. Join our 10X tribe.
Bancor is a good one. It's going to be right at the middle of DeFi. Going back to my points about what's going to be good in DeFi, that's it. That's going to be interesting. So yeah, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Happy St. Patty's Day. Hope you guys are doing well, and expect the crypto markets to start doing some really interesting things really quickly. So now is the time to start thinking ahead. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Get those stimmy checks in the market. All right, everybody. Thanks. You all be good now. Take care.
Bye, guys.